When it comes to sealed Pokemon investments, there's one that I have left in the past quite a bit with the Sword and Shield era. But today, let's go ahead and take a look at your ETB investments in Pokemon in 2023, right after this. All right, guys, I'm Andy with Northwoods TCG, and thank you for joining me today as we're going to be taking a look at Pokemon ETB investments in 2023. What is going on with Pokemon ETBs? Are they investable still? It's one of those things that we kind of talk about, but we really don't do much with them because of their performance overall. And in 2021, if you would have asked me personally, which would be a better investment, booster boxes or elite trainer boxes, I would have told you your better investments would probably be in elite trainer boxes. They performed better. Overall, the numbers were higher. When it comes year over year, they always did better than booster boxes. But is that the case? Is that something that's changed in Sword and Shield? Well, today, we're going to take a look at a couple of examples of this, and we're going to go ahead and discuss what is going on with Sword and Shield booster boxes versus prior booster boxes in, of course, the Pokemon TCG, in Sun and Moon, XY, even back to when they were first released back in black and white. So, sit back, stay tuned, and let's take a look at what we're going into with the first one, which is going to be this. As you can see on the screen, there is, of course, two ETBs that I have on here. Very similar. Not much difference between them. They look the same, right? One is Unified Minds. One, of course, is Fusion Strike. What's the difference between these two? Basically, the price. Take a look at the price between these two. They both have the premier cards in their particular sets. They both carry a lot of the good things that were available in Sun and Moon and in, of course, Sword and Shield. We've got alternate arts, we've got tag teams, we've got everything that you're looking for when it comes down to these two particular sets. They're very similar in the timelines, and there's only about 2 years difference between the release of these. One was released in November of 2019. One of them was released in November of 2021. So really, 2 years difference even on the release dates between these two particular sets. So what makes these stand apart? What makes these so much difference between each other? Well, Unified Minds never got a reprint. It was a one-time deal with these particular ETBs. Fusion Strike has been reprinted, and not just once, but twice. And that's a big factor when it comes down to these performances in these particular products. We have found that Pokemon has kind of shifted the direction between these two, and instead of just going through and printing booster boxes and continuing to just reprint booster boxes over and over and over again, they are now reprinting ETBs. Why is that? Well, overall, we're seeing one big factor when it comes down to it, and that's distribution. Pokemon can actually distribute ETBs to any kind of box store. They can send them to GameStop, Walmart, LGSs, every place. Amazon, all these places can carry elite trainer boxes. Booster boxes are not as easily sold. Big box stores do not want full booster boxes. LGSs love booster boxes. They can sell individual packs. They can do pack giveaways. They can sell booster boxes. They're very versatile for an LGS. When it comes down to your big box stores such as GameStop, Walmart, and Target, they're not. Even Best Buy, they don't want to buy these things. They're not very versatile. They're very easy to be stolen. There's a large amount of volume inside of these in a small package even compared to an ETB. So someone could technically get away with a lot of different product. I'm going to put up another one on here. So as we look at it up on the screen here, I'm going to have two different ETBs again. Number one, we're going to have Hidden Fates. Number two, we're going to have Shining Fates. Once again, only a year and a half difference in the release. And what's the big difference between these? Price again. Between only a year and a half difference between these two particular products, we're seeing almost 5 times growth when it comes down to the actual Hidden Fates. Once again, Shining Fates continues to get reprinted over and over and over again. We've seen Shining Fates return on reprints over and over. When you think they're done, they come back again. When you think they're finally finished, they come back again. And this has been a big factor when it comes down to the overall performance of Shining Fates versus Hidden Fates. Very similar sets. Both have a Shiny Vault. Both have a Charizard Chase. Both have a lot to offer inside of them. Both are fun sets to open with a lot of hits inside of them, so they're exciting to get into. But overall, we are continuing to see Shining Fates, Hidden Fates' little brother, just not performing because of the fact that supply just keeps continuing to come in. Once again, it's a new dynamic that we're continuing to see in the Pokemon TCG. We are continuing to see Pokemon reprint ETBs. Will they continue this in the Scarlet and Violet? I would absolutely think so. Does that mean these products are not investable? Not so much. there are good investment opportunities even in ETBs. I think overall, in the long term of things, ETBs will do rather well. I don't think that they're going to perform like booster boxes will in Sword and Shield, but I still think that they'll perform fairly well. Sword and Shield has changed the dynamic of what products released. They have gone from making the booster box the main driving factor and the main delivery system for packs, and they've moved this into ETBs. Booster boxes now are the new ETBs in Sword and Shield. There's less production, less reprints, and less actual stocking of booster boxes, while ETBs continue to become printed over and over and over again. When that happens, we have a huge supply. Once again, big supply means that we got to have a demand that meets that supply, and we just don't see it. Next thing I'm going to put on the list here, next thing you're going to see on the graphic here, there's going to be a bunch of different ETBs right now in Sword and Shield that are under $35. Now, mind you, the MSRP of Sword and Shield was $39.99. So all of these products currently are under the MSRP value of these. So if you went to Walmart right now and saw one of these particular booster boxes on the shelf, whether it's Battle Style, Silver Tempest, looking down the list, Vivid Voltage, and Darkness Ablaze, if you went into Walmart right now and saw these products on the shelf, none of these products would be worth purchasing here when you can purchase them online with free shipping and get them to your house for cheaper. Once again, it's a dynamic that we're seeing with this overstocking. Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze got a really large reprint right at the 2-year mark of the product, on top of them already losing hype and FOMO due to the fact that we had alternate arts. We had more explosion in the TCG, more excitement, more hype and FOMO and different cards in those alternate arts. We had Radiant cards, we had Trainer Gallery, we had all these cards coming out. Why would people want to be buying Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze at that point? Darkness Ablaze, you're getting a 1 Charizard chase. You go to Vivid Voltage, there's some really nice other cards, but you're really chasing that Chunkachu. Once again, when they were released, when they were first came out, great hype and FOMO on these sets. If the ETBs were out then, they probably would have disappeared rather quickly. But when you go in the alternate world, when you see ETBs with no alternate arts into them, people are not going to tend to purchase those. It doesn't mean that they're bad investments. No. Overall, I think that they could do really well. We could see value on these continue to move up over time, just like we've seen with other ETBs, just like we've seen with booster boxes in the past. Continuing growth, continuing moving forward. Once again, for buying these at about $30, is that a bad buy at that point? Not really. I think that they're really good pricing at that point. I think there's some time if you're looking for that long-term investment. You just want to put something away. That hunt for Chunkachu is going to be an infamous chase. ETBs might be a little bit cheaper than booster boxes in the future, which may be a draw for you to be able to sell these, even if they go in 3 and 4x in 3 to 5 years. Are you really out at that point? No, you're still doing really well comparatively to other markets, doing fantastic on growth. If you can maintain 10 to 15% growth at buying something at $32, you're still doing well, right? We want that 10 to 12% growth per year still in Pokemon. I know that seems high compared to other markets. That's personally where I want to be with Pokemon. If I'm not going to do that, I'd rather just invest into the markets that are going to give me 7 to 8% growth. If I can maintain a little bit higher growth in Pokemon, we're in good shape. Granted, that high growth may not be in the next year on these particular products. They may not move off of $33 for a year or two. But in year 3, 4, and 5, we might see it gain that percentages that we're looking for and a little bit more. And that's where we're definitely looking for when it comes down to these ETB investments going forward. Sword and Shield definitely was a huge changing point when it came down to your Pokemon ETB investments. They really did change the game. We always used to say back in 2021 that ETBs were a better performing investment in the Pokemon space, but we're seeing booster boxes have taken that place. They've flip-flopped their roles, and overall, I think that that's going to continue to happen. And I don't see any reason why they would change that dynamic. They found a good distribution system. They found a good line to get those particular products out. They're going to continue to pump that train. They're going to continue to pump these things out. But hey, I'll put it up again. Purchasing these ETBs right here next to me for $35 or for less than $35 is great still, in my opinion, especially with some of these older ones like Darkness Ablaze. You know, even Silver Tempest, I think it's a fantastic buy right now at about $34 for that ETB. They just got a reprint. Pricing's down. Great opportunity to jump into those. There are, of course, a bunch of them. Most of the ones in Sword and Shield right now are not above $40. There's one exception when it comes down to a regular ETB. Well, 2 exceptions when it comes down to regular ETBs. We have Evolving Skies and we have Lost Origins, both of which are over their MSRP mark. Right now, Lost Origins sitting at about $46 a piece, And we've got, of course, you've got Evolving Skies, even after reprints and stuff that it's had, still sitting at about $75 to $80 a piece for an ETB of just the standard store ETBs. Let's not talk about Pokemon Center ETBs. They're a completely different game, and they're all over the place just depending on what the reprint schedule was on them. Some of the later ones, such as Silver Tempest, Lost Origins, Brilliant Stars, all got reprints, but yet you have the original alternate art sets, such as Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, never really did get a reprint on those. Some little bit of stock got put back in, but in general, there were no reprints on those particular products. So the Pokemon Center ETBs are a little bit different. I'm just talking about your standard ETBs right now. And what are we looking at for Pokemon investments in these sealed ETBs? Are these something that we're looking for? Are these good Pokemon sealed investments? Or are these things that should just be forgotten? They've lived their time and it's over. If you go back to Sun and Moon, you go back to XY Evolutions or XY and you go back to Black and White, the pricing on them is way different. You go to the tag team sets in Sun and Moon, you're looking at $300 plus. The cheapest ones right now in the Sun and Moon block are the base set ones, and those are running about $56 to $60 just because they seem to have taken Sun and Moon booster boxes and put them in ETBs and then resold all the ETBs. Once again, I don't know if it was a reprint or they just cleaned out the booster boxes because they had so many of them, because Sun and Moon really wasn't a really good selling base set in general. It was really slow. That and the mapability of it made it really difficult for people to want to actually purchase booster boxes or loose packs of Sun and Moon. So putting them in an ETB, great opportunity to get rid of them for them. And I think that that's what we saw in that particular case. Overall, everything else is over $100. If you go to XY, everything's over $300 to $400. You even go down to Black and White, which was the original release, of course, of ETBs. Those are running thousands of dollars to right now for them particular products, and they're continuing to move slightly up every single year. So overall, demand, supply, definitely being a big factor when it comes down to ETBs. Pokemon International changing the way that they put these items out are creating systems where we're seeing $35 or less ETBs of products that are already getting 3.5 years old. Once again, not going to change. Booster boxes, I think, are going to become the harder to get item futuristically. I think they're going to continue to just push this new train through distribution. Booster boxes might be the better investment or continue to be the better investment going through, of course, Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet, this may be the way to go. We're going to continue to watch it. We're going to continue to see how these perform overall. But then we're also going to continue to watch Scarlet and Violet if they are going to continue this trend, or are they going to start to open up booster box reprints also? Are we going to see more booster boxes, or are we going to continue to see ETBs? ETBs of most of the Scarlet and Violet sets are on the shelf right now. Base set's the only one that I do not see on the shelf. I can go to my local Walmart. I can go to my GameStop. I can go to my local LGS and pick up Paldea Evolved and, of course, Obsidian Flame. They got enough of the actual Pokemon 151 ETBs. They're still sitting on the shelf. So once again, lots of product out there. Lots of ETBs that are even available in Scarlet and Violet. Maybe we'll see like we did with Rebels Clash, where they just don't do a reprint of these particular products because they just aren't moving that well. As we move into new generations and new things into the Scarlet and Violet era, we might be seeing these ETBs start to move again because they do have that nice promo card in them. And if they have a good set or some good chase cards with some really decent pull rates on them, we might see some demand go that direction. So once again, overall, are Pokemon ETBs a good investment in 2023? I think that I watch them. I think that there's some time to purchase these things. You can watch the markets, take your time with them, pick them and choose them as they start to move on their own. Watch for that organic growth. Watch for things to change. And as they do, you can pick them up if you want to get into that type of investment. If not, stick with the booster boxes. Booster boxes for right now, I think, are going to be your safer bet, especially in Sword and Shield. Overall, definitely the lower printed item. And number two, they are performing a lot better than overall for ETBs from their low to their highs. So once again, guys, hopefully some good information. Hopefully this helps you out in your Pokemon investment journey. If it did, hopefully I got enough to get your subscription. Hopefully I can get you to hit that notification so you know when we're doing new videos. And last but not least, hit that like button. Helps the channel out a ton. Now, we will see you on Tuesday for our live at 9 p.m. Central Time. Come on, join in, have some fun, sit down, relax, and talk about Pokemon investment and market, what's happening, what's changed in the week. Other than that, we'll see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.